Hey there, Bulldog fans. It's time once again for the Diamond Dogs podcast. Appreciate you tuning in here on rivercountrysports.com. Wayne Littrell, joined by the head coach of the Suwannee baseball team, Coach Billy Moran, along with Hall of Famer Tom Daniels. This podcast is brought to you by First Federal Bank and by Pool Realty. Thanks to all of our sponsors here at River Country, and thank you for watching and subscribing to the channel on YouTube. All right, Coach, let's get into it. You guys have been on a tear here lately. Nice little winning streak. I think we've won 5 in a row. I think I've got 9 of the last 10, which is pretty nice.
I mean, yeah.
So we're just going to go backwards, starting with last night's victory at Santa Fe. Tell me a bit about that game against the Raiders.
I mean, just first of all, great pitching performance. Grayson Green went 7 innings, I think maybe 5 hits, 8 strikeouts, 1 run.
A complete game?
Yeah, complete game. Yeah, and it was just one of those things where we only have 2 games this week. Um, we had plenty of arms. We really needed to throw some other arms, but I mean, he was just feeling so good, and he was just dominating the strike zone. So we wanted him to have the opportunity to throw a complete game. That way, that's something that he's achieved throughout the season. So if we go into the playoffs and we need him to throw a complete game, and he's in a spot to do it, that he knows is something he can do and he's done before. So
How many pitches did he throw?
I think he threw 92 total.
Okay.
So
That's not bad. Complete game, 92 pitches. I
yeah,
mean, you take that. If you knew going in, that would have been the scenario.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's a big strikeout guy. He's got a lot of off speed pitches, so his pitch count tends to get up a little bit more. I think he went out. There was like 79. He was at 79, so we were hoping he could get a quick inning.
Mm.
Um, but I mean, the hitters he faced, I want to say Santa Fe's first 3 guys were hitting over 400. And I don't think any of them got hit all night. So he pitched really really well yesterday. He looked very good, super sharp, and you know, just like I said, if you can hold a team under 5 runs, we're probably going to win.
6-1, the final score. Swanee gets the victory at Santa Fe. The interesting thing is now they come to us Friday night,
Mhm.
and you've mentioned this plenty of times. Not easy to beat a team twice.
Yeah, it's very difficult to beat a team twice in one season. Probably even more so twice in one week. So it's gonna be a battle. We're gonna have to play good baseball.
Yeah, obviously different pitching matchup. Do you know who you're throwing Friday?
I think we're probably going to throw a lot of different guys on Friday. I think we're going to keep everybody shortened. The reason why is because we go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, so we don't want to stretch any arms out that late in the week, so they can have a quick turnaround for the
Yeah,
following week.
Do you have a designated starter like they do in Major League Baseball? You know, guys that used to be middle relief, now they're the guy that pitches the first 2 innings.
I would say our top 3 starters are probably Grayson Green, Colton Rogers, and Gabe Garcia. But I mean, you got Kyler Watson who could also start. You got Dylan Green who could also start. It really just comes down to, how can we pitch and still have our defense set up, to be the strongest possible. Um, so I mean, in a lot of high school baseball, you have a 25 game season. It's not a really long season. Especially since they shortened it to 9 weeks. So you kind of, as a coach, you got to kind of play the hot hand. I mean, I didn't even mention Hampton Newman. Hampton Newman's he's a great pitcher. He just hasn't been, he hasn't gotten as many innings as we would like, just because we don't have enough games for them. So we have guys who could, be our starters that haven't gotten to pitch very much. So it's one of those things, and I've discussed that with these guys. Last year Kyler Watson was one of our top 2 pitchers. I mean, he did a great job all year. And this year he hasn't pitched much. You know, it's not because we don't think he's a good pitcher. It's just, hey, we're riding the hot hand right now. There hasn't been a need. We're going to keep you sharp and keep you ready. Because we are going to need you at some point in time. But right now we're just going to ride that hot hand. So,
And
uh,
his bat's really picked up. I mean, he's really come together and had a good offensive season.
I mean, Kyler's a really mature kid. And he's super passionate about, being competitive and how to get better. So he's the kind of guy that's going to come to you after some failure and be like, "Hey, what do I need to do? How can I get better? What are the things that I need to focus on?" And he's done that. And coaches have given him great feedback, and he has taken that and he's put it into his offensive game. And he went from not starting early in the season to now he's one of our most consistent bats and hitting in the 4 hole for us.
Yeah. And let's, as long as we're talking Watson's, let's talk about his brother for just a second. Hunter has really handled this season well as far as his maturity. Not easy to miss an entire season due to injury.
I mean, I know for me, if I would be out, like, for injury, like mentally, I would be just completely unstable. But he has secured a role, a leadership role throughout the team, throughout the dugout, and he kind of, you know, he is a huge part of. I don't want to say he's solely responsible for it, but he's a huge part of why we're having success. The intensity in the dugout when I'm over coaching third base, I can hear Hunter. I can hear him leading the charge of kind of, talking guys up, just speaking confidence, just being loud and intense and creating that environment which we play well in. So for, I mean, just I can't thank him enough and stress how tough that has to be. And instead of kind of being down in the dumps, he's just embraced that role and he's just done a great job.
Playing the season through his brother.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last time we saw you guys, Tom, was last Wednesday. We saw the win over Newberry, but after that, they go on the road the very next night to Lake City, which is never an easy environment. But congratulations on getting the win over the Tigers 10-6.
Yeah.
Tell me about that game.
Yeah. I mean, you want to talk about hyped, ready to go. It was a complete polar opposite of the last time we played Columbia. Last time we played Columbia, I feel like we had like a lackluster vibe about us, just kind of waiting to see what happens, kind of dancing around the ring, if you will. Um, this one here, we went straight to war. I mean, we got after them early. We never let up. We were intense. I mean, we pitched fantastic. I mean, we just, we got after them in every aspect of the game. Stole a ton of bases. Made a couple really good plays defensively. Swung the bat great in situation. I mean, just everything. We did everything really, really well. So.
Yeah. Always good to beat Columbia at anything. I mean, big rivalry. And so congratulations. We end up splitting the season series with those guys. But a big victory. Never easy to beat somebody twice. And that goes for them as well.
That's right.
And, that second matchup, we came in with a little, you know, chip on our shoulder, I guess, just wanting to even the score.
Well, that's a huge coaching point for me. I tell our guys all the time, nobody can beat us twice. We're too deep. We have too many athletes. We have too many skill players. Like nobody can beat us 2 times. And so I've been preaching that from game one because the playoff system now is set up for best of 3. That means somebody's got to beat us twice. And I really believe that they believe now that nobody can beat us twice.
Yeah. Interesting thing about your squad, Coach, 13-6 overall, but you realize you're 8-2 on the road and only 5-4 at home.
I did not know that. I
Road Warriors.
I do hear the guys say like for some reason they kind of like being on the road a little bit better.
Okay.
And I told them, I said, well, next year I'll schedule 24 road games.
Then have senior nights.
Yeah, that's senior night. Yeah.
Which Friday, by the way, is senior night.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you heard a couple of the kids have committed to college.
Well, that was a question I was going to ask. Last time we had 2 that
Right.
were committed, one that may commit higher. We have any more feelers on anybody?
Most of the other guys, I want to say, so for the seniors, we have 3 seniors. 2 of them are committed. I don't know of any other conversations going on. And then with the juniors, I think it's 3 juniors as well. So we only have 6 players that are eligible to receive offers, and 2 of them already do. Um, the rest of the sophomore class, they're not eligible to receive any offers until August 1st of their junior year.
So in case you missed last week's show, Grayson Bonds committed to Middle Georgia and Dylan Green to Bruton Parker. And I didn't know a lot about them, so I had to look them up and
Yeah.
found out it's a Baptist college and has a steep tradition in baseball.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
Anywhere you go, the bottom line is the guy on the mound.
Mhm.
So you could be playing high school ball, and if Jason Kelly's a pitcher throwing 93 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any difference. He can go to Marist and
I,
win throwing 93 miles. Go to the major leagues winning
yeah.
throwing over 90 miles an hour.
But, at the same time, you're facing that 90-mile-per-hour fastball, and so you're kind of geared up, man.
Okay.
You're kind of looking forward to the challenge.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing about it is in order to play college baseball, period, you've got to be a good baseball player. So I mean, they don't just give college scholarships away to guys, or they don't even allow guys to play that aren't talented enough to play. So I mean, if you're making it to the next level, I mean, as long as I tell my guys all the time, as long as you stay in the game, as long as you haven't hung your cleats up, there's a chance. And a chance might be slim, but there is a chance.
Yeah, and that hard work pays off, and it just shows the underclassmen. Look, man, keep working. You see me in the batter's box all the time, taking extra swings, what have you. See me working more in the field or whatever. All that stuff pays off,
Mhm.
and I think the younger guys do see that and see the payoff at the end, perhaps.
Is it easier or harder now? I mean, you're not sending a lot of guys to D1 schools, because if you're that good to go to a D1 school, you could be going to the Atlanta Braves.
Right.
But with a lot of junior colleges, when I started this thing, whether it's Madison or it was Lake City or it was over in Jacksonville, there were a lot more junior colleges in the area that were
Mhm.
playing baseball, and they aren't anymore. So, are there more colleges out there, but they're just not here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's plenty of colleges out there. They're just a little distant. And I will say that social media has helped as far as a recruiting tool for those colleges. So it used to be if you played in kind of a more rural area and you were a top player, but you weren't, maybe you were 85, 86, put a really good pitcher. Um, maybe somebody would look at you, maybe not. Whereas if you threw 90, that magic number back when I played, if you threw 90, somebody was going to come and look at you and watch you pitch. But 85, 86, not really going to, waste any time with you. Those guys now are being seen and they're getting picked up because they can just throw videos out on social media. They can email coaches video, and they kind of quick feedback on that. And plus, I think that the science and the research over the years has shown that 85, 86 will translate to 89, 90 in college and possibly 90 to 92. So I think that people are starting to realize the growth that players make, from the time they're a junior in high school to the time they're a junior in college. And that's what I try to tell my guys is, you know, I'm looking at you now, but this is not what a scout sees. When a scout sees you, they see you in 3 to 5 years. What are you going to be in 3 to 5 years? So if they can see a hugely improved physically and mental player, then you're going to be somebody they want to get.
All right, you're talking about 85, 86, and we're going to 90 nowadays. If you can't throw 90, forget about it in the major leagues. But we're talking about fastballs.
Mhm.
Are there less breaking balls now because we want less broken elbows?
No, no. If anything, there's more breaking balls now than ever, I think, in the game. And it really comes down to coach's preference. Does the coach, does he tend to call more breaking balls or not? I mean, but I don't think that anybody, the curveball on the elbow. I don't I don't believe that that's what causes arm issues. What I think causes arm issues is just bad mechanics. So,
And well, I could agree with that, but the baddest mechanics you're going to have is throwing a curveball if you don't get it right. It's a little bit harder because it's from the fingers to the elbow to the arm.
I think the difference, though, is the training that the kids are getting now.
mhm.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, we had to develop how to throw a curve on our own back in the day. Coach said no curveballs.
Yeah.
And of course, as soon as he turns his back, we're going to figure one out.
Right.
And so we were snapping wrists and we were doing things that
Well,
probably,
that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
The mechanics are.
but they're getting better training
Yeah.
at an earlier age now.
Yeah, I think that the training that they're getting, like you said, we would just go out and throw and throw and throw, and then, we'd figure out how to take what we had and try to get it over the plate. Whereas now at 7, 8, 9 years old, these kids are getting lessons and they're getting, scientific feedback on camera and everything of how to throw the baseball, how to do it right. They have technology now to where you throw a baseball, as soon as you throw it, it shows the velocity, the vertical break, the rotation rate, like all that. It's insane. So the feedback on the way you throw and your max output is immediate.
Okay, now you're talking about that at a high school level. Can they do any more at a professional level? Because that sounds pretty overwhelming.
Yeah, I mean,
is there a technology that goes beyond that?
no, I mean, not that I'm
We don't
aware
know
of.
yet.
Yeah,
We
well,
we don't possess any of this technology. We we're trying to close in our batting cage right now. We don't have the money for that. So I mean, obviously that costs a lot of money. Now there's high school programs that have that. It's called a TrackMan system. And there's a database that holds all that information, so you can create folders for players and then just send a folder to a recruiting coordinator, and they have every pitch that Mikey has ever thrown, So,
Wow.
yeah, and then the same thing with hitting, like the velocity off the bat, the trajectory, launch angle, all that stuff. You know, that's stuff that some schools have, and a lot of Division One schools and professionals have it, but some high schools have it too.
One of the things they started doing in Major League Baseball, and you heard about this, but they've moved the sweet spot. They figured out they take the statistics of where a guy is hitting the baseball. And if you're not hitting in the barrel of the bat, they've moved the barrel to the middle of the bat because that's your sweet spot. So they've got bats specific to a person's swing. I mean, it's just incredible what they could do.
Sammy Sosa was way ahead of that.
Yeah.
He had a bat that was conducive to his swing. He just had to fill it up with.
Yeah, that wasn't legal. What they're doing now is above board. So anyway, hey, you're watching the Diamond Dogs podcast here on rivercountrysports.com. We need to take a time out here. We will, and then we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
First Federal Bank is your partner in helping your business grow and assist with financial overhead. With person-to-person customer support, top-of-the-line banking services, and digital tools, your money is never out of reach and always safe. For over 60 years, we've been financing community businesses and partnering with growing franchises to provide stability and expansion opportunities. Bank with real people so you can focus on running your business.
When you're in the market for a home or vacant property to build that dream home on, contact Pool Realty of Live Oak. They can also help locate commercial real estate for your business venture. Pool Realty has a full team of professional and caring real estate brokers and agents, so always think Pool Realty of Live Oak to help you find the perfect home or property in Suwannee or surrounding counties. Pool Realty, a proud supporter of rivercountrysports.com.
Rapid Fiber Internet's locally owned and operated, powered by Suwannee Valley Electric Co-op. Our local employees are dedicated to providing a world-class customer experience to each of our Suwannee Valley Electric members. Make the switch today to Rapid Fiber Internet's 100% fiber to the home internet system. To learn more about Rapid Fiber Internet, visit rapid-fiber.com. Again, that's rapid-fiber.com or call 866-64-RAPID.
When watching the big game, you want pizza. Papa John's Pizza of Live Oak has what you're looking for. Delicious pizza, cooked just the way you like it. From their signature sauce to their toppings, the fresh original dough, plus wings, breadsticks, and more. Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's Pizza, 6852 Suwannee Plaza Lane in Live Oak. Call for delivery or stop by today. Welcome back to the Diamond Dogs podcast here on rivercountrysports.com. Wayne Littrell, along with the head coach of the Suwannee Bulldogs, Coach Billy Moran, and Hall of Famer Tom Daniels, join us on the podcast. Now, some exciting news. We've got 2 games left to our broadcast season this Friday. I believe we're going to have Hunter Abercrombie, he's committed, and Matt Campbell to do the call. And then the following Friday, we've got some Hall of Famers that are going to come forth. So, Tom, break the news here to our audience. We think a week from Friday, who's going to be in the booth?
Well, I know that I will be there.
Yes.
And Terry Mixon, I talked to him today, and he said, I don't know of anything I have going on. Of course, I talked to him. He was in Atlanta at the Atlanta Zoo
Okay.
with one of his grandchildren, and his granddaughter is modeling up in Atlanta. So that's why he was in Atlanta. Otherwise, Terry doesn't cross the Suwannee. Okay,
Fantastic.
he's kind of like me.
But he's convinced. So Terry Mixon will be on the air with you, along with maybe.
I ran into Ray Corbett, and Ray and I had a chat, and we were talking about who's ever had a hit in the major leagues. Well, we only have one guy that ever went to the major leagues. So I asked Ray, I said, did you ever get a hit? And he said, yeah. He said, my rookie year, I batted 204. Now, for a pitcher.
Now, he's a pitcher, right,
Yeah.
at the big league level.
So if you're a pitcher and you hit over 200, that's a good deal. And then he wouldn't give me his average for the next year. And he said, and after that, he said, we went to the DH.
Yeah.
So he told me he had breakfast with Mixon every morning. And then when I talked to Mixon, I said, you have breakfast with Ray every day. Ask Ray to come. Now, I'm not going to promise you that he will be there, but I offered them carte blanche, do an inning, do 3 innings, do all the innings you want to do play-by-play, do the analyst. I don't care. I would just love to have 2 of, we got a lot of great young guys that are Hall of Famers that played, somebody like a Kevin Green. Well, these are old timers. And it's like, just love to have these old timers in the box because I can relate to them.
It's just, we're doing this for you, right?
Right.
But it's cool for the kids too to know their history. And it's you were telling me that that he actually threw out the first pitch like last year, year before.
Yeah, last year, Hunter Abercrombie kind of organized it and brought him out, and we did a little ceremony, first pitch ceremony for Swanee's only player.
Did he lob it or throw it?
No, he threw it. He threw it. He was just like, I'll take it easy on you. So, he stepped up and threw it.
That's
Well,
fantastic.
put Daniel Tillman on your list to throw one out.
Yeah, I definitely will.
Yeah.
Well, you'll probably see him come and throw a couple in the alumni game.
Oh, I'm sure of that. Yeah.
But we were blessed around here.
Tell me a little bit who shows up for the alumni game.
Oh, well, it varies from year to year. I mean, just
So who do you anticipate?
showing up. I always look for the Gambles to be there because both of those guys can still pitch. They probably could still be playing baseball if they wanted to. Matthew Pennington.
Does Matt pitch?
Yeah.
He was in middle school. He was lights out.
Yeah, in mid school he was lights out. In college he pitched at Liberty University. He's a Division I pitcher, pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very, very good. Yeah, I mean there's so many I couldn't name them
Does
all.
Chad come out?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Does he put on the gear?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't catch. We always Patrick Jernigan usually catches, and Sam McMillan comes out and he catches as well.
Sam was a little pretty good too.
Yeah,
Maybe the best catcher we had.
yeah. I mean, 5th round draft pick.
Detroit
$1 million
Tigers.
signing
You remember
bonus.
that, right?
Yeah, it's kind of cool though to have that connection to the program and guys still coming back and wanting to be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty special.
Yeah, I mean, and the history of Suwannee baseball is kind of what keeps us going. So for the current players to see all these guys come back through, Houston Morrell will come back through. He's still playing. Bo Bonds will come back through. I mean, those guys they frequent during the off season, so it's just really cool for those guys for the current players to see those guys that have had success and are still having successes. It's good. It's a good
And I'll
thing.
bet you a guy who can still hit is Kevin Green.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, one of the smoothest swings.
Yes,
I mean,
ever.
I talk about that a lot, but he had just butter. I mean, it was
He's
nice.
like a John Kruk or a Smokey Burgess or a Yogi Berra. He's just that left-handed hitter be able to hit into his 50s.
Yeah.
I'm very rarely struck out. Just had that smooth stroke. Fun to watch.
Yeah, he can still hit. And his kids are getting on up in the program. They're playing for the Suwannee Bombers, so they're on on the path too, and they're all good baseball players. And his daughter is a good ball player as well.
Back to the current team. Speaking of hitting, I
Mhm.
understand Gabe Garcia went yard in last night's ball game.
Yeah, yeah. We were in a. It was actually we were kind of just back and forth. We hit a lot of balls really hard yesterday. We hit a lot of balls right at them. They made some plays. So before we knew it, I think we were 30 minutes into the game, and it was the fourth inning already.
Wow.
And we're kind of looking around like, what's going on? We gotta some of these balls gotta start finding a hole. And then I want to say I think Kyler Watson led the inning off with a hit, and then right behind him, Gabe Garcia hit a ball out to left field, and I mean he smoked a line drive. He got out of the park real quick, and that put us up 3-1. And then that was kind of the backbreaker for the other team. Like they knew that we were on the barrel all night, but they were just kind of clinging to that hope that the balls would keep flying right at them and they could make plays, but. Yeah, Gabe crushed that ball and got out of the park. So and then we just added to the lead after that.
It's hard to field the ball that's on the other side of the fence. So really no defense for that.
That's right.
Anyway, great win. And I'm excited about it. I know I don't want to get too far ahead, but we got the playoffs looming. And I don't know if you paid attention to the rankings, but the latest rankings that they have on FHSAA, when you look at 3A Region 1, South Walton is in front of us. Suwannee sitting now in the number 2 spot.
That's good news. I mean, I have high expectations of us, so that does not surprise me. That's exactly where I felt like we should be. I feel like we are, every bit of what that ranking says. And I also true to South Walton's ranking, they're a very talented baseball team, and I think that they should be number one in the region until proven otherwise. And I will say, um, not cockily, but very confidently that I hope that Suwannee baseball fans and everybody that pays attention and follows us, I hope they get to see us play South Walton in the regional final to go to the Final Four, because that will be one heck of a matchup.
That would be a great matchup. They are 15-3 by the
Mhm.
way on the season. We're 13-6 at this point. Right behind us is West Florida, another team that might have something to say about who wins this region. They sit at 16-3, and then you got Fernandina Beach at 15-3. So some pretty tough ball clubs out there we're going to have to deal with in the postseason.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, but just like I've told our guys, and they know it to be true, we are just really, really deep. I don't think that anybody can match us as far as depth. Um, you know, yeah, most high school programs are going to have 2, 3, maybe even 4 really talented baseball players. Um, you know, we've got talented baseball players on our JV team that in any other program would be on varsity squad.
Let me ask you this, because you would know more than Wayne and I. You're looking at Walton, Fernandina, whoever, and these guys have more wins than us. Well, if you're playing Sisters of the Holy Trinity
Mhm.
4 or 5 times a season,
Yeah.
yeah, those are pretty easy wins. Would you say that, because you said it, the last time was, I don't want to schedule guys that, we're going to walk over, right? We need the competition because that's how you win playoff games. You've looked at some of these records. Are they playing real people?
South Walton is.
Yeah.
I know for a fact South Walton is. I want to say their schedule what's the strength of schedule
Yeah.
is a 14 or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's 14.67. So they have the toughest strength of schedule.
Mhm.
We have the second toughest
Mhm.
in the region. You look at strength of schedule after us, it starts dropping
Yeah.
way down.
Yeah, so I would say that West Florida was a Fernandina Beach. I would say those strength of schedules are now, not to say that they're not good baseball teams. They're good baseball teams, but they have not played the level of competition that we or South Florida have played. South Florida has played a pretty rigorous schedule, and so have we. So it's kind of my whole point of setting up this season is we set this season up to be battle tested. That way, when we go to the playoffs, we are scared of nothing. Nothing it shocks us. We are just we're numb to any type of fear, and we're just welcome the competition.
Yeah. And the reason for this is you lived this last year
That's right.
playing an easier schedule, had a bigger record. The kids weren't really ready for that postseason.
Yeah, and we ran into, that playoff environment kind of shocked us. Yeah, we had 5 or 6 freshmen, on the varsity staff last year. So, that playoff environment was new. Although these guys have been in, high stress situations many, many times before, there's a different kind of vibe in the air when you go to a high school playoff game, especially when it's a high school playoff elimination game. That's when you really, really feel the tension in the air.
2 in a queue.
Yeah, that's the old saying.
That's it.
Do it a barbecue.
Let me ask you this.
Mhm.
I'll be doing a game a week from this Friday.
Mhm.
North Florida Christian.
Mhm.
When do the playoffs start?
The following week.
Well, it
The
starts
follow-
with
the following week starts district play.
district tournament.
Yeah,
April
well, that's what I mean.
April 14th through 18th is the district tournament,
So that'll be the last game?
and that'll set up our last broadcast scheduled for April the 11th. Yeah, that
Is that the last game of the season?
regular season.
So I'm
Yeah.
yeah, that would be the last game of the regular season. However, I'm gonna have to break some bad news to everybody. That game has been rescheduled for Wednesday. So because I guess North Florida Christian had some kind of senior trip or something that Friday, so they can't play that Friday. So we had to push it up to Wednesday. So next week we'll play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't know if that
Okay,
poses any issues for
Well,
Mike.
it is what it is. Well, it's 7 o'clock start on Wednesday night.
I think they're going to do a 6 o'clock start because of the school night.
Now you're getting to me.
I know.
Now that runs right into the podcast, but
I
we'll
know.
figure something out.
I know.
But this is all fresh news. I don't usually handle fresh news well. I got to take me a minute to wrap my head around that.
I was going to try to tell you on one of the breaks, but I didn't want to start making promises.
It's
I
we'll
don't-
make
I
it
don't have
work.
a
We will
problem.
make it work
Yeah.
one way or another.
I have no problems with Wednesday.
You'll be there.
I will be there.
You like the earlier game, so that's probably not a problem for you.
What do you mean I like the early?
The earlier game gets you out, then you get to bed at your bedtime.
Yeah, well, no, it gives me time to party afterwards. Yeah, that's the big deal there. But I will talk to Mixon and see, what his deal is. But actually Wednesday is better for me than Friday
Okay.
because then I can do my karaoke gig Friday.
Let's see. Okay. Silver lining.
And Billy can come.
Yeah.
And by the way, this Friday night against Santa Fe, that's senior night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So we got 3 seniors that will be taking the field for senior night. That's that's always a good tradition for us. And I tell you, man, it's this is the first group I've got to really, really see these kids grow from really young all the way through. So it'll be a tough night for me.
Yeah. A little bit emotional, but at the same time, want to go out with a win. So
Absolutely.
hopefully those underclassmen play hard for them.
Oh yeah, I believe they will, and I believe that our guys are kind of finding their stride right now. So they understand what's helping us win ball games. So I look forward to us to be able to play some good baseball Friday.
Also, next week you talked about the 3 games. One of them is in Georgia. You got to go to Lowndes.
Yeah, we're really excited about that.
Is their field and lounge as good as their football field?
Yeah.
Good
I don't know.
facilities.
They're really good. Yeah, it's all turf facility. I mean, Lowndes, Georgia. I guess Georgia's lottery kicked back money towards the sports programs. I don't know why Florida doesn't. That'd be great, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, almost every baseball field in Georgia, football field, and especially your good programs. I mean, they're all turf. They all have good funding. Indoor batting cages. I had a friend of mine sent me a video of Valdosta High's indoor batting cage. It's unbelievable.
Wow.
And Valdosta High is not really known for
more for football.
baseball.
Yeah.
They're known more for football, but the thing about it is in order to keep up, in the transfer era that we're at, and in order for them to keep up with Lowndes, they have to match Lowndes, or even one up them. So if Lowndes has indoor turf cages, Valdosta has to have it too, and they do. They've got. I mean, both facilities are just second to none. They're really, really.
Then you
good.
got Valwood and other private schools, which hey, everybody's
That's
trying
right.
to one up
That's
the
it.
other guy.
That's
But
right.
It's like playing at a miniature Major League Baseball park. The only thing that's different is the seating.
Yeah.
And the same thing when went to a football game there. It was like, you were
You remember
playing
going
that
to the
little
Tifton
college game.
game?
Yes, that was.
It's
I
like walking
remember.
it felt like we were walking into a college stadium.
Yeah, and I was in their locker room, and it was, just
Yeah. That
back.
was
And
after Coach Walls had moved up there and we
yeah,
went up for a game.
yeah, and it's you just, how can it be better?
Yeah.
And especially at a high school level.
Well, I will say that that's really cool that they have those things, but I love what we have here because everything that we have here, we've put our blood, sweat, and tears into building it. And it gives you the the motivation to want to get to the next level. If I'm playing at Lowndes and then I go to um, you know, let's just say
Trenton.
Daytona State College, Daytona State College is not going to have the facilities that Lowndes High School has. So if I'm a player, I'm feeling like I'm being demoted, if I'm going from Lowndes there. However, if you're at Suwannee and you go to any, junior college or college period, like, you should be, upgrading. Now that's not always the case because, we are upgrading our facilities, rapidly. So, but we don't have the funding to do all turf and stuff like that.
Do you know what your baseball field once was?
Yeah,
City Dome.
it was a landfill. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
it's true. But I mean,
So
even
we've
through
come
the
a long
years,
way.
with the addition of the field house and
Mhm.
and the different improvements that you've made, and like you say, you guys have put your sweat and blood into it.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
and,
when I built our media decks, I built those media decks when I was digging the post holes for them. I was pulling up glass and metal and all kinds of stuff out of the holes.
Same stuff as under the pool in the school.
Yeah,
yeah, we appreciate you doing that. By
yeah,
the way,
yeah.
that's really helped with the
Except I thought that was
with the
Chad's
pictures.
job.
What's
I
that?
thought Chad Bonds was in charge of this maintenance.
Well, he just does the
Just
field
the field?
the field dragging.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Pretty
So-
good at that
no,
too.
he's really good at it.
Yeah.
He's really good at it.
All right, we're going to take a timeout. Back in just a moment. More Diamond Dogs podcast right after this.
Can you do?
When you're in the market for a home or vacant property to build that dream home on, contact Pool Realty of Live Oak. They can also help locate commercial real estate for your business venture. Pool Realty has a full team of professional and caring real estate brokers and agents, so always think Pool Realty of Live Oak to help you find the perfect home or property in Suwannee or surrounding counties. Pool Realty, a proud supporter of RiverCountrySports.com.
First Federal Bank is your partner in helping your business grow and assist with financial overhead. With person-to-person customer support, top-of-the-line banking services, and digital tools, your money is never out of reach and always safe. For over 60 years, we've been financing community businesses and partnering with growing franchises to provide stability and expansion opportunities. Bank with real people so you can focus on running your business.
Rapid Fiber Internet's locally owned and operated, powered by Suwannee Valley Electric Co-op. Our local employees are dedicated to providing a world-class customer experience to each of our Suwannee Valley Electric members. Make the switch today to Rapid Fiber Internet's 100% fiber to the home internet system. To learn more about Rapid Fiber Internet, visit rapid-fiber.com. Again, that's rapid-fiber.com or call 866-64-RAPID.
All right, hey Bulldog fans, when you're hungry, we can satisfy that appetite at Beef O'Brady's of Live Oak. Come dine with us during, before, or after the ball game. We feature big screen TVs, so you won't miss any of the big events. At Beef O'Brady's, check out our game room featuring pool tables and games for the kids. Stop by Beef O'Brady's for some good food, good sports, and good games.
The Diamond Dogs podcast is brought to you in part by G&W Site Services. They can do it all from land clearing to site prep, grade work, excavation, pond digging, driveways, culverts, material hauling, foundations. Call 386-209-4856. Ben Newman, G&W Site Services. That's 209-4856. You'll find him online at gwsiteservicesllc.com. And we certainly appreciate Ben and his support of Suwannee Baseball and the Diamond Dogs podcast. Every Wednesday at 6 o'clock. And except for the final Wednesday, we're going to have to move that to 5 in order for the game that will start at 6 o'clock, right? You said 6.
Yep.
Okay. I wrote that down, so it's now in the book. It's official.
Put an asterisk by it, subject to change.
Yeah, you can't change it again.
No, I promise I don't. I try not to change anything on the schedule. When there's a change, it's usually to appease the competition somehow, some way. So yeah, I try to. I'm a pretty structured, like routine kind of guy. So I like every game to be at 7.
Yep.
So anytime we play at 6, it's because the other team is requested. Because they don't want to get back late.
Having done schedules at the rec department for all those years, I used to hate change. And I just tell people no. He said, well, we've got someone sick we can't make. But every time I make that change, then somebody else is mad at me.
Snowball effect.
Yeah, you can never, make everyone happy. And so you had to learn that lesson.
That's right.
But it is what it is, and we'll follow protocol. We will be there for that ball game.
Good.
And looking forward to it. Also, for those of you who don't know, we're going to be carrying the high school graduation ceremonies for not only Suwannee, but also for Brantford High School. So that's coming up in May, and kind of excited about that for the first time.
We're running out of sports here.
Yeah, well, the summer months, you got to fill it with something.
You're not going to do rec department ball?
I don't know what we're doing.
Do All-Stars.
We're going to do podcasting, and we may do some of that. I think we'll see. We're going to do football next year.
Oh, that's great.
We've
Looking
already
forward
committed to
to
that.
that.
Okay.
Are you guys gonna if we host in the playoffs, are you guys gonna try to cover those?
If we can get the sponsorship, we
Okay.
would do that.
That'd be great.
Absolutely.
The way it's looking, if we are a number 2 seed and we are able to win the district, which I feel confident that we can, we have the ability to do that. Then we would more than likely host the first round of the playoffs, which would be fantastic. So
Okay.
hopefully you guys will be able to stream that one.
As far as our district, we're in 3A District 3, correct?
Yep.
And so if I got this figured out right, that includes Wolfson, Paxson, Stanton, and Baldwin.
That's right.
I'm looking at records. I don't see, Paxton's got a 13-4 record, but their strength of schedule not anywhere near ours, and everybody else under 500. I don't see. So Paxton, I guess, obviously is the team to beat, other than us.
No, I would say every team is going to have one arm.
Yeah.
So you just it really depends. Us being that number 1 seed in our district, it certainly helps because we get a bye. So then everybody has to throw their one arm against each other. And then we have all of our arms left over because we get that bye. So it's set up in favor of us because of our success that we've had. However, when you're playing a 1-game playoff in the districts, anything can happen.
Yeah.
So that doesn't necessarily mean that if we did not win the district or if we lost, that we wouldn't make the playoffs. We should still most certainly make the playoffs. However, if we win that district, then we would guarantee a host the first round, which would be
in the district tournament. Correct me if I'm wrong, it's not at one school like the old days. It's a satellite tournament, meaning we don't play until they come to us. So they will battle out at the Wolfson, let's say, played Stanton. It would be one of their whoever has the better record. Their school.
Right. And that'll most certainly happen. So I'm looking even further down the road towards the playoffs. But we should absolutely host the first round of the playoffs.
And if you win that, will you ever host anything
the
again?
first round of district. Sorry.
Yeah.
Then we would continue to host so long as we play a lower seed. But so like I said, if we can win the first round of the playoffs, if we can win the district, win the first round of the playoffs, win the second round of the playoffs, if nothing changed in the rankings, then the only time we would travel is to South Walton. So long as they win. Now, if they were to get upset, then we would host all 3 rounds.
And obviously we're looking ahead, and coaches are allowed to look ahead, but you can't let the players look ahead. They got to look at the next game.
100%.
Yeah. So how tough is that to keep them focused on the job at hand and not start daydreaming about possible state championships?
I'm gonna tell you a little story. Once upon a time, about 300 and 50 or so days ago, we were in a ball game where we were winning 5-4 with 2 outs in the 7th inning, in the bottom of the 7th.
Oh, wow.
And we were starting to look towards next week and playing where we were going to travel because we had won the first round of the playoffs and we're going into the second round. And then a guy got a hit, and the next guy hit a home run and walked us off. So the answer to your question is I don't think I'm going to have to say anything to these guys. They know that there is no tomorrow. Even, until we start shaking hands after the game, you can't let up because, we were as close as you could possibly get to winning the first round of the playoffs last year, and we got it snatched out from underneath us. So
That's a horrible feeling.
it is the one of the most gut wrenching feelings I've ever experienced in baseball. But like I told my guys, like, it it was so important for us to lose that way because we'll never ever forget it, and we will always be better because of that.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about baseball. Wasn't great for you, but you can take hockey, you can take basketball, you can take football. They all have time limits.
Hmm.
Baseball, there is no time limit.
At least not now.
You could play a game in
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
in an hour.
Hmm.
You can play a game and it could take 10 hours.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now high school baseball, have they gone to the extra inning rule that they do in the major leagues? Or
No, high school
No.
baseball is just straight baseball for
Yeah.
as
And
many
let's hope
innings
it
as
stays
takes.
that way.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
I don't like it either. I was watching, and I've gotten into, and we talked about this in an earlier podcast, but been watching the Bananas, and they were
Yeah.
up in Atlanta and playing that game, and I didn't realize that they put a 2-hour time limit on that.
Oh, really?
So when the game starts, they hit the timer, and they've got
I'm
2
done.
hours to get the game in, and that's it. And they, of course, they do points and in different,
Yeah.
crazy things that they score by. But one of the funnier things was there's no such thing as a walk. But on ball 4, the runner can take off. The batter becomes a runner. He takes off. Everybody on defense has to touch the baseball before it becomes live again.
Oh boy.
So it's the craziest thing you've ever seen. Left fielder, center fielder, right, and they got to throw it around before it becomes live again, or he can take that extra base, or just keep running.
That's wild.
You know what we're talking about?
Yeah, but your coach to just take the ball and let the guy have the walk, because if you throw the ball away,
Yeah.
Then we're not looking at
We're-
first base, we're looking at second base or third base, and if somebody's on, so
Well,
it's kind of
we
like,
don't play banana ball. I'm just saying.
yeah, well, maybe a few things have changed. We were born a little too early.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't give up the era that we came up in.
Oh,
We
no.
were talking about that off camera. I mean, we used to look forward. It was one game that was shown on television in my era was the game of the week, and Kurt Gowdy, Tony Kubek, and you tune in Saturday. I mean, that was the thing. And then TBS came along in the I guess the 70s, 80s, whenever that was. I guess 80s more like.
Yeah.
And then they were showing the Braves all the time. Which, by the way, the Braves awful start to the season.
Listen, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
There's only one way to go.
Yeah,
Up.
well, it's tough
Yeah.
starting with
And
that left coast trip. So
I tell everybody, man, when you come out and you start white hot, that's not always the best sign because when you're white hot and everything's going great, there's usually only one place for you to go, and that's down.
Yeah.
So when you start slow, that's a good sign. That means that you're getting all your failures out of your system, and then once you get that thing rolling,
and you look back at our season, Suwannee started out a couple of wins, then we lost a couple, then we won a couple, then we lost 3, and then we've caught fire.
Mhm.
And we've caught fire at the right time. We ran into a Bishop Snyder pitcher to shut us down, but that's the only game you have lost going back to March 7th.
Mhm.
So you're getting hot at the right time.
That's right. And and just like I said, I wouldn't say it's, getting hot as much as these guys are just buying in and really understanding like how to win a baseball game. And it's not by going out and making these tremendous plays or hitting a home run. Like, you look, I think we've hit 3 or 4 home runs on the season. So home runs are not what's winning us baseball games. It's just like constant willingness to compete and understanding that we are deeper than they are, and that, for our pitcher has to face 4 or 5 good hitters. Their pitcher has to face 9 really good hitters. And then, he doesn't get a break after 9 because he rolls right back to the
Top of the
number
order, yeah.
1. So, I mean, it's just he never gets a break, and he may last 1 or 2 innings, but eventually, we're gonna get to him. So, and then, I tell our guys that, their bullpen is not as deep as ours. We have more talented pitchers. We will outlast any of our opponents, and they're really, really starting to see that. That's been true to them.
Okay, we got 9 great ones, and you got a very, very good catcher.
Mm-hmm.
Couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was my question. What happens if he goes down?
We got 2 guys that can catch really,
And
really
so
well.
who's catching behind Bonds?
It would probably be Jace Moran. He would probably catch behind Bonds. And then if we needed to, Kyler Watson is a really good catcher. I mean, and then, we got Trenton Klein, who's a sophomore that can catch. I mean, he's good. And then you
Killer?
have Parker Craps, that's a 9th grader, and he is showing some really, really good stuff at the JV level. So, I mean, we have catchers.
Are you able to call up any of these JV
Yeah,
kids?
let's hold that answer. I was going to ask that question. We're going to hold that for after our final break, back to wrap up and ask that question after this here on the Diamond Dogs podcast.
First Federal Bank is your partner in helping your business grow and assist with financial overhead. With person-to-person customer support, top-of-the-line banking services, and digital tools, your money is never out of reach and always safe. For over 60 years, we've been financing community businesses and partnering with growing franchises to provide stability and expansion opportunities. Bank with real people so you can focus on running your business.
When you're in the market for a home or vacant property to build that dream home on, contact Pool Realty of Live Oak. They can also help locate commercial real estate for your business venture. Pool Realty has a full team of professional and caring real estate brokers and agents, so always think Pool Realty of Live Oak to help you find the perfect home or property in Suwannee or surrounding counties. Pool Realty, a proud supporter of RiverCountrySports.com.
Rapid Fiber Internet's locally owned and operated, powered by Suwannee Valley Electric Co-op. Our local employees are dedicated to providing a world-class customer experience to each of our Suwannee Valley Electric members. Make the switch today to Rapid Fiber Internet's 100% fiber to the home internet system. To learn more about Rapid Fiber Internet, visit rapid-fiber.com. Again, that's rapid-fiber.com or call 866-64-RAPID.
Hey Bulldogs, let the UPS Store of Live Oak handle all of your packing and shipping needs. The UPS Store of Live Oak also offers mailboxes, printing, faxing, scanning. We also offer notary services and shredding services as well. Stop by your local UPS store. There's help in here. Real help.
The UPS Store, located at 6824 Suwannee Plaza Lane, Live Oak, Florida. Back here on the Diamond Dogs podcast, we are sponsored here on the Coaches Show this week by Danceology. They're on Helveson Street in Live Oak. You can reach them at 386-590-0535, and they got a message for you. They say, awesome job this season, and keep up the great work.
Sweet.
There you
That's
go.
great.
How about that?
That's awesome.
Could be future dogs there
That's right.
at Danceology. So there you go. We appreciate their support here on RiverCountrySports.com. All right, before the break asked you about calling up JV kids. So what are you looking at as far as a postseason roster? How big are you looking to go as far as travel?
Yeah, I've kind of pulled some guys up, just based on needs and where we've been in the season, and as far as pitching needs. But yeah, I mean, I plan on pulling up a significant number of players from the JV squad to the varsity moving forward into the postseason. Actually, the last JV game is Friday, so those guys will report to varsity the following Monday.
You got names?
I got some names. I I'd prefer not to release
Man,
them on air.
how about coaches? You going to call any of your JV coaches up to help you?
I'll tell you what, I'm calling Vernon Wiggins up. I'll call him by name. I'm calling him up to the varsity staff. He's gonna respectfully decline, but I wish he would I wish he would come up. He's Vernon Wiggins is a library of baseball.
Oh, yeah.
It just never ends.
Yeah.
Oh, I've only known Vernon forever.
Known him for a couple of years. Yeah.
Yeah.
A baseball mind. And yeah, he'd be good to have up there, if
Oh,
nothing
yeah.
else, just
He'd
to
be
kind
awesome.
of pick his brain.
Yeah, for sure. He's great.
Yeah. Okay, so we're down to this game coming up on Friday night. That's our next broadcast. It'll be Santa Fe, and then next week with the 3 games, and then the district tournament starts. So
That's right.
we're right here on the edge of the postseason.
That's right. We got senior night coming up. So gonna give a shout out to Caden Jenkins, Grayson Bonds, and Dylan Green. 3 seniors. Those guys, they've done a great job this year, and hopefully we can give them a thrilling ride through the postseason to close it out. So
Do you
excited
do
for
anything
those guys.
special on the field for senior night? I mean, are they going to have parents out there?
Yeah, we call them. We call the parents out. We call the players out, and kind of read their future plans and where they plan to attend college and what they're going to do after high school, and all their credentials that they've done. And
Yeah, if they're good enough, they call out their stats. If not, it was just great, good, hard worker,
Yeah. I
dedicated.
think these 3 guys wouldn't be ashamed of their stats.
No, those guys got some good stats.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the cool thing about it is just 3 seniors, meaning, look at the youth on this team.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. These guys, what any paper won't read is the character that these 3 guys have. Because when you have a big class of seniors, it's easy to kind of help create a culture and help carry on a culture. So these guys, they're outnumbered. So the juniors are, they outnumber them. The sophomores certainly outnumber them. So it's not been an easy task for them, but those guys are, they have character, and that is, again, in my opinion, the turning point in the season was when these guys fully embraced, what it was going to take for us to win. And I communicated that with those guys, and they communicated with me. And that's been the difference in our season. So I attribute all of our success to those 3 seniors because they have made the difference, in my opinion.
Well, Wayne and I watched and broadcast 2 of their daddies,
Uh-huh.
and Jake Green was one of the best ball players ever came here,
Mhm.
and Chad. Suwannee has been fortunate that just year after year, they've had a good catcher.
Mhm.
As a matter of fact, they've had like great catchers,
Oh, yeah.
and he has just carried on the tradition. So I'm not surprised, and neither are you, that they were able to do this.
But you just look at the last names of the
Yeah,
kids
look
on
at
the
the-
roster. I mean,
Mhm.
there's a kid on there named Moran. He
yeah,
had a
we're looking
pretty
at
good dad.
we look
So I
at the
remember.
DNA.
Yeah. Well, we've got some good pedigree in our lineup. And I'm telling you, man, there's guys on the JV staff that, they're talented baseball players. They could very easily be, on varsity. They just, we just have enough depth on the varsity staff that there's no reason for them to sit the bench on on varsity. So they're getting reps on JV. I mean, we have a lot of talented baseball players right now in the program. So the future is super bright. And we just gotta understand that as a program, why we're having successes and keep pouring into those points of success.
There you go. All right. Well said. And, Coach, that's going to wrap up another edition of the podcast. Appreciate your time as always. And we'll see you Friday night.
Sounds good.
Tom, thanks. Appreciate you coming in and volunteering your time.
We'll tell everybody about the change in the schedule one more time.
Yeah, well, the change in the schedule is not this week because we will be on the air Friday as scheduled, 7 o'clock against Santa Fe. But then the next week, that Friday game, North Florida Christian moves to Wednesday, and we'll start at 6 o'clock. So we'll do the podcast at 5, and then we'll have the game at 6. that Wednesday. Tell Coach Mixon and tell Corbin. So hopefully everybody will be able to make it on that Wednesday, and we'll have a Hall of Fame broadcast and go out a winner in the regular season.
Sounds great.
Yeah,
Sounds
that's
awesome.
the plan.
That's the plan.
That's going to wrap up the Diamond Dogs podcast. We do this live each Wednesday evening right here during the baseball season. And then, of course, it's archived on our website. You can watch it anytime at rivercountrysports.com. Our next Suwannee baseball broadcast coming up Friday against Santa Fe. That's a 7 o'clock first pitch. Want to thank all of our sponsors. The Coaches Show brought to you by First Federal Bank and by Pool Realty. Our executive producer on the stream was Tammy Neal. Our streaming director was Rivers Martinez. Big shout out to Rivers. We appreciate the job that he is doing. For Billy Moran, for Tom Daniels, I'm Wayne Littrell. Thanks for watching RiverCountrySports.com.